Mother Room. This is, Mother 9000, Clara. And I've got a special guest with me today, Ben Rigby from Alien Covenant. Hey, Ben, how are you going?
Hello, Mother. How are you?
I am good. Very good.
I like your room that you're in. Great.
It's my own personal, little...
It's so good. You've got another one as well, don't you?
Huh?
You've got another background.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I should switch over to it for
just switch it when I'm not noticing.
Yeah, we can be on the Nostromo.
Yes, it's so good.
Or what is the other one? The Derelict.
It's pretty good. I haven't seen that one. That's great.
And then Daniel's Cabin.
Pretty good. Oh my god.
I've got way too many. Yes.
Oh my god, they don't stop.
Zoom has been amazing for me because I get to be in the world of Alien without suffering the deaths from Alien.
Exactly.
So it's been very handy.
Mm-hmm. You get the good end of the coin.
Yes.
Is that the right saying? The right side of the coin?
I don't know. We can find out later.
I don't know anymore.
So, how have you been since the last time I spoke to you, which is probably 5 minutes ago, but still.
Yeah, we did it. We did a draft before, and then it fucked up. So we're doing a second one right now. Look, we've all been very. It's a very weird time. I've been fine, but I'm also, I'm privileged enough to say that I'm an actor, so I am privileged to begin with. So I'm not in an age bracket or a health bracket or anything where this is going to affect me in like a bad way, unless I'm part of like a small percentile. So I'm fine. I'm extremely sad for the families that have been affected by this, and the people that have been affected by this, and the people that still have to work during this because they don't have a choice. So yeah, I'm fine mentally, maybe not so much, but medicinal marijuana is legal in the state of California, so here we are.
Woo! Enjoy. Have extra for me, please.
Always.
So, I guess since we've spoken last, I got to interview Ben for AVP Galaxy, for people who don't know. So it was 2018. I devised a list of questions with Aaron Percival, and we got to talk about a lot about Covenant. So this conversation is going to kind of be very natural, and it's going to kind of go all sorts of ways. So we really...
do you want me to be natural? Okay, I'll start now.
Fantastic. You can get back into your pajamas or something.
Right, I'll take off this shirt and I'm not going to go there. Let's keep going.
Well, on the topic of taking off your shirt, I was listening to the to the interview from last time, and they had to wax you. Did you have to get waxed? I can see you've got a bit of hair there now.
Girl,
but
look, I am a hairy man.
Have you had to wax yourself again since then, or?
No. If I have to do anything, I'll clip a bit. But I haven't had that. It hasn't been an issue for any other project that I've been part of. So thank fuck. It hurts so badly.
I bet.
I had to go to this. I had to book it in myself. So it's you're
really
because when you do because I was working on the production was in a different city and I was still living in Melbourne. So they're like, hey, if you go to get this wax, we reimburse you or whatever. So I found a nice place so that I wouldn't have to be in so much pain. But I was so wrong. It's gonna hurt wherever the fuck you go. And this she had to like trim my chest hair, and then she's like ripping it off, and I like was full flinching.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like bleeding afterwards, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go see a movie, get a chopped up, have a glass of wine, and just try not to think about how much my body's hurting right now. And then women have to go through childbirth, so I'm just a fucking pussy. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I only ever had my armpits waxed, and it's painful.
Never again?
No.
You kept going back like a bad boyfriend.
Yeah. Totally. I do not recommend it, people. Just have hairy armpits. It's fine.
Neither do I. If you have a hairy chest, never fucking do it. Don't do it. Don't take away your masculinity.
But how about tattoos? Have you ever gone through the pain of getting a tattoo?
No, have you?
Yeah, I've got tons of tattoos. I've got an alien one on the back of my shoulders.
No, you don't. You have to like show me.
Oh, okay. No. I don't know whether it's visible.
What is it?
Because I'm going to have to get rid of this reflective top.
I can't believe I'm like getting you to like
on the back
stretch
shoulders.
interview.
I don't know.
I can't see it.
Like that.
Oh, cool. That's great.
So it's
when
just
did you get that?
It's just the lines. I got it done. Was it this year? Maybe it was last year. No, it was definitely last year. I met an Alien fan on Instagram, and he's like, "Oh, I'm traveling to Melbourne. Do you wanna like meet up?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll bring some stuff that I got from the Set of Covenant. You know, you can have a look at that stuff." And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." And he's like, "Wow, you're a tattoo artist. Can I get a tattoo? Could you tattoo me?" And he's like, "Yeah." So it's just organized it, and it turns out his mate's tattoo studio was just down the road from me in Fitzroy. So it was like really close. I just walked there, got tattooed, came home. Yeah, it was great.
It's a nice little memory.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. All the Aussie Alien fans that I've met have been really nice. So
yeah, I think you might be like the first one that I've like really spoken to. Actually no, there's a few, but like the only one that I have like I guess a repeat like relationship with. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. I do stalk you a bit. I'm sorry.
It's not stalking. I accept any kind of communication. I'm not that famous, so like anyone being nice to me online is like always a good thing.
Cool. It's good to know. Yeah. All right. So no tattoos, but you have been waxed. Is there anything else? Kind of like, what's the most painful experience apart from the waxing that you've been through?
Oh, I had like a really fucked impacted wisdom tooth.
Oh, ouch!
A few years ago, and I was here in LA, and I started getting like feverish. It was like 2 years ago, like feverish and sweaty, and I felt like dizzy all the time, and it was like 3 or 4 days.
Oh.
And like was waking up in full sweats in my bed, and I didn't know what it was, and I was like, I just don't know what this is, like. And then one day it like clicked, and I was like, ow, that actually hurts. Like I hadn't like stopped to really like evaluate my body properly, and I was like, it's got to be that. I was like, it's this, because it's still hurting. Like it was a reoccurring pain for a long time, but it would go away and come back. And then I went to the dentist, and like an emergency dentist on a Saturday, and they took an x-ray, and there was like all this like build up there.
Ow.
And they're like, you if you like left this much longer, you would have had like sepsis.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, like it was bad.
Luckily you got it in time.
I drained it, got it taken out, boom.
Painful.
But it was so bad that I still get like pain in my jaw now. Like it's so weird.
Oh.
And it's not on the side that the thing flew in my ear, so it's not connected. These are the things I have to tell myself when you do a film like that. You're like, have I cursed myself by doing something like this?
They reckon that the people who starred in the first Alien film are dying in the same order as they did in the film.
That means I'm gonna die first. From mine. Are you fucking telling me this now, bitch? No.
Oh, you're fucked. You're fucked, man. You'll be fine. But I don't think that's true. It's just a really very sad coincidence.
It's thanks. That's really comforting.
I'll let you know when your time comes.
Well, I'm the first, so James Franco has to die first.
Yes, James Franco. Well, right, we know it's dangerous when James Franco kicks the bucket. You're like, fuck.
When James Franco dies, I'll call you back. So I'm going now. Bye.
All right. on the topic of pathogens that tend to infect the human body and give them death, I find it kind of ironic, all the people who used to argue and kind of say to me that all the colonists in Covenant were dumb bitches for going onto the planet without a helmet. And then you see all of these people right now protesting COVID-19 restrictions, going out without masks. What do you think about that?
What's COVID-19?
Coronavirus.
I think I've heard of it. It is so bizarre that we've had all these references to science fiction films and science fiction literature and just scientific thought for however long, as long as there's been a public consciousness, I gather, and that we still have all the information in front of us, and yet we choose not to take it. It is very frustrating as somebody who has played a character that did exactly not that, and I judged my character when I walked into that film set. I was like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, I have to look at this guy like a fucking idiot. Like, he's smart enough to be like security personnel, which just means he can protect somebody, but he's a fucking idiot. He walked away and he did the thing he was not supposed to do. But I guess it's a really great look at like leadership going down as well, because in our spacecraft the leader died and we got a new leader, and the leader there was a confluence of leadership. So, and there was an argument about leadership, so that equals zero communication and equals people doing dumb shit. And I think the very same thing's happening on a governmental level or on a federal level in America, where there's no cohesion with what they're saying at a federal level, so therefore it seeps down and no one has communicative skill.
I think that, as well as that, you're going from like they kind of gave Branson, or Franco, the leadership role just because his wife happened to be head of supercargo, which is Daniels, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how qualified he sounded. I even read the prequel book and I was still iffy. Then going from someone like that to someone who is like like Oram or Billy Crudup was viewed as a religious extremist, but he tried to make science his main thing. So he was like head of like life sciences or something like that.
Well, his wife was a scientist.
Yeah, his wife was a scientist, and he was kind of like helping out.
Yeah.
Do you think
he was the Christian and she was the scientist?
Yeah.
Together out of, I don't know why, but I think it's a bigger maybe allegory for government, and that we can they all represent like a political leader in some way, I guess.
Yeah.
or they represent one of each of us from Earth. I have no idea, but we can speculate, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was speculating about what your character was smoking. Was that tobacco or was that weed?
It was going to be weed, and then they changed it.
Oh, so there's actually a definite answer for that.
Yeah, so it was going to be weed, and then he changed it to tobacco. I think because Daniels was smoking weed in the room. After her husband dies. So I think they didn't want it to just be like everyone's smoking weed. And I think also
and then they're cutting out anyway.
I think it's also much more pertinent for him to have his moment if he's sober.
Yeah.
As in Ledward. Me. But yeah, I think that they on the ship they can definitely mirror the stupidity of the humans that we're seeing in real life. I think everyone is so quick to judge those characters, but they do the exact, like, humans are contradictory. They do the same stuff. I mean, we all do dumb shit. We all
like another criticism that people have had from the guys from Prometheus, Melbourne and Fifield. Fifield smoking weed in his suit, and then Melbourne reaching out to touch a space alien cobra.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, well, we know about Steve Irwin. We love him, but he did a lot of dumb shit. God rest his soul. But when I saw that character, he didn't seem that unbelievable to me. And the amount of people who have criticism for that character, I'm like, I actually know a guy who, he made his life that, reaching out and touching things that he shouldn't have. So yeah.
Also, who knows what stuff they have on Earth that is like shocking or surprising?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's no world back there that we get to see anymore. So maybe stuff is so crazy that when you get to a new land, it's not as surprising as we would find it now.
Yeah, and I think that even though the Covenant is like the furthest colony spacefaring mission that they've had, I think Weyland-Yutani in general in the universe has populated over 50 different worlds, and in those different worlds they've encountered aliens already, and all of them.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it wasn't too far-fetched to think that he could have been okay with something as little as that. Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to talk about is how has 2020 been for you? You being in LA and you haven't been in Melbourne since like November. What has it been like? Because you're really lucky being where you are. You've managed to go to the beach and exercise and do that sort of thing. But has it changed much in the way that you live your day-to-day life?
For sure. I mean, before I would, actually, it hasn't limited like what I like do. It's limited the friends that I obviously see, and I'm a very social person because I struggle to talk over text. I prefer to be like a physical person. So, it's really been kind of hard in that regard. But less than like physical distance, it's been like mental distance. Or a mental routine change. So the idea that me being in like LA and not being able to go back to Australia as often, or having to really plan that, and the idea that if I go back to Australia, I can't come back without a job is very scary. So, it just feels very trapping, if you will. But I think I said this before, but I'm lucky enough I'm privileged enough to even call myself an actor to begin with. So, I'm so lucky that, I live in a nice place. I live by the beach. I live, you know, I'm not trapped, and I'm not in like a bad relationship, or I'm not like, you know, I'm not able to get like any kind of funds or anything. And there's a lot of people out there who don't have access to that. And there's a lot of people who have been really fucked over by this whole thing. So, you know, as much as I like want to call the wambulance, I fucking can't, you know.
It's really good that you can recognize your privilege.
For sure, you have to. Like, we have riots like down the road tonight, so it's a very tenuous time, and there's a lot of really disenfranchised people, especially in America, who don't even have fucking healthcare. So there's one thing when I moved here, I was like, I didn't have healthcare here for like 3 years until I got it 2 months ago, and it's like, because in Australia you just don't do that.
Yeah.
So I lived here for a really long time. Like, I've struggled financially too. It doesn't just like happen and you get all this money. You have to like keep working, and you know, creatives don't get treated as, I guess, well as people think they do. So yeah, it's been an experience, but I have health insurance, everything's good, but
fingers crossed. Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
But it is a very scary time here in America, but also I do feel like I live here more now than I did before as a result of this. Like, I feel like I'm more of the fabric of this place, having gone through this and seeing the way that people react to things. Because every country is, you know, doing this differently. And did we say this before it cut out before about like Arrival? Because I think that's like a really
that's right. Yeah, we'll bring it up again because I really enjoyed that.
I was thinking about like how Arrival, that Denis Villeneuve film, how when COVID first started, that it was like all these different countries trying to figure out how to attack this like foreign body, or how to like communicate with this foreign body, and you know that it was the whole like moral of that story isn't about the thing coming to visit them. It's about them trying to communicate with one another, communicate with one another in regards to the thing that's going to help them, you know, communicate with it and get past that language barrier. And COVID very much was that. It was, you know, and still is, all these people working towards trying to figure this thing out in their own way.
Yeah. There was like so much misinformation going on.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Like even people saying like it's spread by 5G, like that doesn't make any sense. There's countries that are being affected that don't even have 5G.
It's fucking psycho. It's fucking psycho. I can't. Like, it's...
I gotta tell you, my in-laws were trapped on a cruise ship because they went to take this cruise to Antarctica just before they started the restrictions. So this was even before Australia was starting to take...
Like, from Argentina, or where do you go from?
Yeah, so they went from Argentina, took a ship to Antarctica, and everything was fine the first 2 days, but then they started shutting all of the airports down, and then everyone got the message like, you have to go back to your home country. So they tried that, and then they were going from port to port to port. No country would take them. They ended up getting stuck. The whole ship ended up getting COVID-19.
So your parents were on this?
Yeah, my in-laws.
What?
Yeah. And then they, like, after much, like, conversation with them, we spoke to the powers that be, and we managed to get them a Mercy flight down to Melbourne, and they spent 2 weeks in a quarantine hotel, and they experienced it from like the point of view where like they were just bystanders. They're both doctors, so they kind of know what the steps are, but they didn't realize how serious the whole situation was. And to have that slowly like become like something that was in the news to like something that directly affected them was absolutely just nuts. And now I think they're trying to sue the company because Aurora, they didn't even want to give them a refund for their trip.
Really?
Assholes.
I mean, yeah, these big companies, they're going to go down. They're going to go down. But, what was the moment where like you knew to go into isolation, or where you were like, okay, now like What was like your fear moment?
Um, mine was weird because I'd actually gone to Sydney to go meet one of the guys who worked on Covenant in the art department who did
Uh-huh.
David's drawings, so Dane Hallett.
Okay.
And I went to go to his exhibition, and then at the end of that, I was supposed to fly back, and I was in Sydney, and then they cancelled all the flights, and I tried to book another one, they cancelled that. I tried to book another one, they cancelled that. I was actually on the Fox lot having lunch with him when they shut down all the productions because
Wow.
they had a COVID-19 scare, and I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have come on this trip.
How did you get back?
I hired a car and I drove 10 hours from Sydney to Melbourne.
Right.
And
Nice.
yeah, I'm glad I did. And then I put myself in isolation for 2 weeks because I just didn't know
Yeah.
whether I could be infectious, and I didn't want to take that risk. I made sure I took my kids out of school.
Yeah.
So it was pretty full on. So it was pretty immediate for me. That was on, I think, the 17th of March. So yeah, it was. And then after my 2 weeks of isolation was up, then the whole country shut down and I couldn't go out anyway. So
It's
I was
the same
like,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Mine was like 13th of March, so pretty, like just before.
pretty close. Yeah.
But those 4 days felt like an eternity. Like watching Australia not being in shutdown while we were.
Yeah.
Was like, what? Like I was so scared for people back home. I called all my family and was like, "You need to go into isolation." So, got my mum into isolation like the day after, and yeah. Anyway,
The thing is, like,
everyone has a similar experience.
yeah, with the bushfires, like, it was already bad enough. Everyone was coughing, suffering from like lung problems already, and then COVID-19 comes along, and they were already out of masks when the fires were happening, and then now
Yeah.
it's even worse. So it's just 2020. When is it gonna fucking settle down?
I don't know if it will, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I hope it does, but I hope it does, and that people aren't, that there's not a massive portion of people who are affected.
Yeah, it's very strange times. In that sort of sense, like, in good times, people love to look at science fiction films or films where it's kind of post-apocalyptic and sad, like The Walking Dead or Westworld or something like that. But
Yeah.
now that we're kind of living it, people don't want to see that anymore. Can you imagine yourself transferring to like films which are more like comedic or have a bit of levity in them?
I don't know how much I enjoy comedy. It's probably just like my imposter syndrome as somebody who usually just does like dramatic films or high intensity films, if you will. So to do comedy for me is kind of like a weird unknown terrain, even though like I can make some people laugh sometimes, but it's not like my goal. But I would definitely do like a good comedy film if it had a good script. Obviously, it's very interchangeable with the work that I guess I already kind of do, but it just hasn't come up.
Do you have a bucket list as an actor for the types of like genres or roles that you wanted to do, or certain directors you want to work with?
Mine isn't so much a bucket. Like I'll always want to do like good scripts. That's my just main priority when it comes to choosing a script or being involved in a project or even auditioning for a project. So if I get a bad script, I'll say no, I don't want to audition for this. But in terms of like a bucket list, I usually don't do it for like my life, because my life is so long and interchangeable with my wants and what I want to. I don't know who I'm going to be in 10 years. So that would be, an unhealthy thing to do for myself. But I usually every year I'll write like a set of I'll be like, I want to do a TV series, or I want to do like a feature film, and I'll just write like a few things that I want to do that year. And usually if you include like stuff that I want to write or make, or that as well.
Cool, that's good. Yeah. I don't really have much of a bucket list.
I don't always do them. Like, but sometimes like there were years where I would look at stuff and be like, oh, I did those things. It's cool. Like I would just write them and like not look at them again, and then look at my diary at the end of the year and see if I did it.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, and a lot of them are about like, getting shit done, where people like have aspirations to do certain things, and this is the time to do it. Is there anything that you've managed to do in isolation now that you've been putting off?
I made a short film.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, my partner's an underwater cinematographer, so we hired some lenses and shot a film with our neighbor who's sheltering in place with us as well. We live in an apartment block, so our next door neighbor came and did sound, and I wrote a script and made it. So I'm editing it now, which is kind of fun.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
What other film-based skills do you have?
I've produced a few shorts, and I write. My last short, We're Not Here, just got an award at the Mardi Gras Film Festival this year. So that's cool. I got a screenwriting prize. So
congratulations.
Thanks. So I try to write and stay creative and take photos, and it's, especially now, it's a nice time to like sit back and see what I actually do want, because a lot of the time when you're like doing the hustle and you're trying to like get work, like my industry is completely shut down right now, so it's nice to sit back and not have that like FOMO that you usually get when other people are working and you're not, or you're working on a project and you want to be working on something else, or it's really lovely to just realize what the fuck I want to do.
That's cool. That's what I was going to ask. Like, do you know anyone else who is still kind of working in the industry? What are like casting calls like at the moment, or social distancing on sets?
I haven't been busy at all, but I also didn't have any projects coming up before COVID hit. So I know people who have projects coming up and they're just like waiting for stuff to reopen so they can shoot. But when it does get to come around to shoot again, it's going to be a very different story. So, like in Australia at the moment, they're like, women don't do their own makeup. They do their own makeup, and men don't have makeup, and they like separate people into different groups, and they test everyone and put people into isolation, and it's all a huge process. So, it's just going to be a period of reopening it in increments from we do in America as well.
I guess with productions, most of the time you're seeing those people every day and in quite close quarters anyway, so it makes sense that you guys would isolate together.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff's always updating, so I don't know what it is like next week or the week after, but at the moment it's looking like that's going to be the case. I think my auditions and voice auditions and any kind of correspondence is going to be done like we are right now.
Yep, on Zoom.
For a while.
Maybe I should send you some backgrounds.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing my best to stay off technology, but it's proving to be a very hard job.
Yeah, it's the only way we get our news and we stay connected, especially like since your family is in Australia.
Yeah. If they weren't, it would be like if my friends and stuff weren't there, and I think it would be a bit easier, but it's still hard to not look at the news all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I actually can't remember whether we covered this before, but what are your what were your plans before COVID-19 hit? Like, did you have like trips and stuff planned, like to go overseas?
Yeah, I was gonna go and see my friend in Milan, and that was probably gonna be about now. Maybe go to New York or in like London. A film that I did last year kind of has been, I guess, pushed back because of COVID, in terms of like a cinematic release or anything, which isn't going to happen now. But yeah, there was going to be potential film festivals and stuff with that, and the film that I made got into a few film festivals that I was going to go to, but it just didn't happen. So, but
Damn.
you can't be angry. It's just
it is what it is.
It's the way things are.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, of course, there's a pang of fuck. I really wanted to do that, and you know, there's that idea of fear of missing out. But you're like, what am I missing out on if nobody else is doing anything either? You know, it's like a little bit of a stress off, because usually when you're like, oh, they're doing that, I want to be doing that, and yeah, I don't have that now, which is kind of fucking lovely.
That's good. So I guess for the film festivals and stuff, I've seen some that have kind of gone online, and people are doing, I guess, guest appearances and interviews through digital technology. Is that something that would appeal to you, that you'd want to do or try out?
Well, yeah, with film festivals that we're in like St Kilda coming up, and I think they'll be like that. And sure, I mean, if people want to ask you about a job that you did, then why not? It's not like I'm gonna really do anything else.
It's true. You are.
I'm only talking to you because I have nothing else to do.
Oh, thanks. Fuck you. Like, seriously. No.
I'm completely joking. I'm so here for your backgrounds.
Yes, I love them as well. There's been a lot of criticism of the Alien prequels, and because you're not much of a sci-fi fan, you said you were kind of late into watching Covenant last time. I think you said you only had watched it like 4 years ago, and now it would be 6.
As in the original Alien?
The original Alien, yeah.
Yeah, I only saw that when I was like maybe 25 or 26. But I guess as a person that grew up on the Gold Coast and didn't really have much of an outlet to culture, that kind of came later. And working at Nova certainly helped too. So maybe it was... For
people who don't know,
Prometheus came out like 2012, right?
That's right.
It's cinema.
Yeah, so Cinema Nova. That's like my local cinema that Ben used to work at. I think remember seeing you a couple of times there. Yeah, so I was just letting people know. You go ahead. 2012, Prometheus.
What year is that Prometheus?
Yeah.
So I might have seen it around then, but I can't quite remember, but. Yeah, I wasn't like super into sci-fi just because I have 2 older brothers. We would watch like surfing movies and, you know, we like shitty comedies. And then I reached high school and ended up watching like my own stuff from like 16. But I used to watch like high art house dramas instead of like sci-fi. So I kind of came around to it. And I found that the ones that I really liked were the ones that had like great scripts, and I was really repelled by it for a long time, just because I thought it was like this thing that was like super geeky or super like.
Oh, it's totally super geeky though.
I guess it is. I guess I'm a fucking dork.
You're a secret nerd. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I know. I went to theatre school. I mean, of course I'm a dork. But yeah, I kind of came around to find the higher art sci-fis a bit later. So yeah, and when I did, I fucking loved it. So Yeah. What was the was that the question?
Yes, that was the question.
Did I get it right? Do I need to say anything else?
It has there been, like, since you're kind of new to liking sci-fi, is there any sci-fi television or movies that you've liked in the past few years that have really kind of make you question yourself in reality? Because you said as an actor that's what you want to make the audience do, like kind of look into themselves.
Of course. What have I been watching lately? I mean, I loved Westworld season 1. It was exceptional. I just finished season 3, and I love the sentiment of it. I love a lot of the acting, but I'm a little lost, and I don't think I should be. You know, it's a little too dense, and maybe like I just want like a cohesive narrative. As much as I love that whole production, I think season 1 just was like, and like I came close to a role on that show, so I was like, fuck, I want it to be good, and it was, and I was like, damn it, I really wish. Are
we allowed to ask which role you were thinking of getting?
I went for a few, but the one in question was the guy that's with Dolores, who's Ed Harris's like younger self in season 1.
Oh, yeah. William.
I think that's his name. I don't know characters' names. I just know that like who they are.
Yeah.
I'm really, really bad with names. If someone's like this character, I'm like, who? What do they look like? Like who plays them?
That's all right. Oh, that would have been interesting. Yeah, I could kind of see you as his character, definitely.
Totally. Like I love trying to exist in those worlds. They're really exceptional when they work. They're so thought-provoking and so introspective.
Yeah. Have you watched Devs?
That was my next thing that I was gonna say, and I nearly got a role in that too.
Really?
Like,
oh my god!
So I only watch shows that I nearly get roles in. That's like my number. I'm joking. But they're the two shows that I went for that I really got a good response from, and the world that I love to live in, and they were both the shows that I enjoyed watching. I didn't love the end of Devs. Some of the acting was questionable, and I won't point out anybody, but some of the acting was also fucking exceptional. But that last episode just kind of didn't do it for me.
Yeah, it's definitely like the many worlds theory. Like that's the sort of stuff that I was thinking about a lot. So when I started watching it, and then I got the ending, and I was like, holy shit, it just went.
Yeah.
Has there been any like other types of genres that you particularly been watching recently to kind of like get through the pandemic? Is there a backlog?
I usually just watch really trash reality TV, to be honest.
Really?
Like really bad, like the worst stuff.
Show us your beer, by the way. Everyone has to see this. Have you finished it already? Do you need to go? I
just finished it.
Oh, you have to go grab another.
I will after. Course light. I'm a trash bag, you know. You can take the boy out of the Gold Coast, but you know the rest.
At least it's not 4X. It could be worse.
It could be worse, but I got Coors Light's kind of like the 4X of America. You know.
I'm judging you totally.
I'm not, so it's fine.
Well, what's your favorite go-to reality trash show?
Oh, there's so many. I do love RuPaul's Drag Race. It's exceptional.
Yeah. That's
it's
really
so
good.
Exceptional. It's like the funniest fucking show in the world. I just love that we live in an era where there's a reality show about men dressing up in women's clothing, and it's a sport now. It's insane. But they're really good. Some of them are really funny.
Yeah.
And it's just good, like high camp drama, or high camp comedy.
Yeah.
RuPaul is also like spreads a really great message, and here for it. But another one that I'm watching at the moment is Cheapest Weddings.
Cheapest Weddings.
This is like my mental breakthrough, is just watching like the cheapest shit, the worst shit that you can find on Netflix in terms of like reality, and it's just the biggest mind blank. You'll just like sit there and watch it. And
have you ever watched like Botched?
So I love Botched.
A lot of people in the arts department watched that when working on stuff for Covenant, so it was definitely deep inspiration for David's lab.
Like in 50 years, or even just like now, they'll be like, where are they now? The cast from Alien Covenant. And they'll be like, Catherine Waterston on the new Harry Potter film. And they'll be like, this person doing that. And they'll be like, Ben Rigby talking about how he watches trash reality TV on some podcast somewhere.
Yes. Drinking cause.
Exactly. They're like, this guy, like TMZ is going to get hold of it. They're nuts. And I'm never that famous, let's be honest.
You'll get there one day.
Whatever.
For the meantime, though, having talked a little bit about Covenant, did you have any like theories or ideas about the universe that it's set up in when you started studying the character and kind of trying to get a background for Ledward? Do you see any like patterns or messages that all of the films have tried to like bring across?
In terms of like characters, do you mean?
Characters, plots, you know.
There's always like the where did we come from question, which is kind of the whole basis of Alien. I think before it's an Alien film, it's a where did we come from film, because they wouldn't go into space if they didn't want to know. And then kind of not the man meeting his maker in the original Alien, but man meeting the thing that he doesn't know. And you know, that's through every kind of horror film, like a man or a woman, just a person meeting something that's unknown. And that's what makes good horror. When it's a surprise and you like, when the audience doesn't know as well. So yeah.
What was it like being on the ship on set? Because like I know that Ridley had this company kind of write in an app that timed all of like the screens. Everything was kind of interactive. Was there anything that you were kind of like, you're sitting on there and you're like, wow, I'm actually not in space, but this feels really real?
I mean, it certainly felt like that when we filmed in New Zealand, when we had that like the lander kind of going out into the ocean or into Milford Sound, and there was a stage where the tide started to come in, and it's like a very flat. Milford Sound's very flat, and there's no decline in the earth, so the tide would come in, but it's all coming across like this flat, and you'd see the water like chasing you from the wet to the dry land, and then within 2 hours it would be like, you know, like waist deep. So it certainly felt like we were on like a whole other planet already.
Yeah,
because we had to be like pushed by, you know, rubber duckies, or what do you call, like inflatable boats out to the lander in the morning, and then like halfway through the day, or like 6 hours later, it was like flat and we could walk on it. So it's so weird. Like that kind of a tidal pull is nuts that I'd never really experienced before. So that certainly felt like it was new terrain already. And then like when we're on the ship, there was where we're all kind of landing in that, they put us up in this hoisted up what you see in the film is actually happening. So we had like these directors of photography like strapped into the actual building. So we had to walk up these stairs into this place where we were like strapped in like seatbelts as we're about to land in that thing, and they would like press it and it would fully shake. It was up on like these stilts that would move, kind of like a ride at Dreamworld or a theme park. You know, like the Batman ride at Movie World. Remember that one? How it would like move around. It was like that. But we had to like do all our scenes while that was moving around, and it was all very realistic, which was great.
Were there any like outtakes that we didn't know about?
Not really.
It was a very serious set.
A very serious set. No, it was pretty fun. Everyone was pretty fun. Like when you work on, I guess, a big budget film like that, it's all serious because there's time is money, but really managed to make it, you know, curious and fun. And he let us kind of just go with what we felt like we would be doing in that moment, which was lovely. He wasn't controlling. He just goes, yep, great, do that, or do it the same, just move over there, or, you know, it was very casual. It wasn't, certainly didn't feel like I was working with some person who'd been trained how to make a film, as opposed to someone who had their own way of making a film.
Yeah.
And they're always the best. They're always the best ones. People who can play with everyone around them to make the best product.
Is there anyone's performances that kind of wowed you while you were acting, but you couldn't go like, wow, man, that was really good? You kind of had to save it till later?
I obviously love Michael Fassbender. I think he's incredible.
Oh, who doesn't love Michael Fassbender?
So to say that he's my favorite in that film is just like obvious. I wanted to be Billy Crudup when I was like 10 years old. So when I met him, I was like, fuck, like, and I told him, I was like, I wanted to be you when I was 10, and he's like, really? But seeing him act was really special. Just, and we like, even with the what do we have to do? Those like promo videos, like the Last Supper, and those ones.
Oh, the Last Supper, yeah.
We only got those scripts a few days before.
Oh, really?
That like short film that was like a promo video for it. Yeah, so we only got those a few days before, and we just kind of like improv'd a lot of them. And yeah, that was probably the most fun for all of us together, because we all got to just have fun and do, you know, but it was like reading the script, being like, cool, great, let's just go off, like go ad lib.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, because I didn't even know that it was like pretty unscripted. It seems very natural though. That
totally. I love that
exchanges.
style of filmmaking where some directors are very concise and they need to be like, we have to have these words down perfectly, and then some directors will go, throw it out the door, just do it the way that you want to do it right now, and they'll make it work.
Yeah. Was the Last Supper filmed toward the end or at the beginning?
It was like in the middle.
In the middle. Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And in some cases that was like, I guess the only time you kind of like get to play the very relaxed character and not have to be running a lot, because you had to do a lot of training leading up to
Yeah.
like the boot camp, right? Like you said, you had to be blindfolded, be able to take everything out of your pack and put it back in and disassemble a gun. That's just nuts.
Yeah. But I liked it. Like I loved that shit. It really like helped all of us get into the world of it, and all be getting into the world from the same basis. It wasn't like, hey, we have to train your character like this, or we have to give this background to your character. It was like, hey, we're going to give all of you guys like this basis so you can create what you want to do with it. It was like, here's the things in your backpack, and if you want to use them in certain scenes, you can.
Could you tell us a few things, like, because there's this Alien Covenant cosplay group on Facebook, and they
Right.
have started buying all of the different things that go into the backpack, and some of them have like really screen accurate sort of outfits where they get to.
I'm going to show you. You're going to kill me. You're going to be like, I can't believe you do that. You're such a piece of shit. But this is like legitimate Alien Covenant like shirt that I got, and I use it as my running shirt.
Fuck you, man. No, just kidding. I got given the Creature Shop shirts from Odd Studio. So when I went to visit them, amazing. They gave me the shirts. So I wear that as like to bed.
I'll have to try and see that. The writer gave me his. I'll find this right now. I caught up with him after we shot, and he's so lovely. And he gave me the. They're not originals, but they're like photocopies of the originals, which didn't really go anywhere. Of the storyboards of Ledward's death.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I have to. I can't find them. Where the fuck are they?
You are not organised. I just want to bring this up now. I tried to buy a print from you.
And, oh my god, you did?
Yeah. And I waited the longest time, and then I just gave up. I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to get it.
Those negatives have gone missing. Which is really weird.
When you find them, I still want it.
I know. I'm sorry. Oh, here we are.
I just want to give you money, man. What's your problem? Oh, wow.
They're like the original storyboards. I need to like somehow get this framed, or like. And these are all Ridley's drawings. Yeah.
I've got a friend in Sydney. She helped frame some of David's drawings from the lab.
Oh,
so
right.
If you're ever in Sydney, I know someone.
Cool. I don't really make it to Sydney. I wish I did. Yeah, I want to work more in Australia, but it hasn't happened that way.
Yeah, who knows with the way COVID-19 is going, Australia and New Zealand might be the only safe places for some people to work. So.
Well, yeah, they're the ones that are starting to open their industries. So. Yeah, I told my agents, I was like, if there's a good project, I'll do hotel quarantine so I can work.
Well, they're finishing up, I think, Avatar over in New Zealand right now, because I was
doing Lord of the Rings as well.
Yeah, that's it. I've got a couple of friends who are working on that, so they were like, hey, you should come over here, we could go to Weta Workshop. I'm like, yeah. Love it. Is there anything that you remember from getting the prosthetic on your back that you thought was like, this is like really cool or really weird when you were getting that done?
I mean, when you do like a full body prosthetic, so like I did a full face, and like your mouth is like shut off, and they cover your ears. So you have to close your eyes, so you're breathing through your nose only with plaster all over your face and mouth for like 30 minutes. and I've had that done 3 times now. Like,
3? How come
yeah,
3? Was it all for the same film?
no, I did one for a horror film in like 2011 or 2012, and then I did one for Covenant, and then I did another for Ratched, which is a Ryan Murphy show that's coming out like end of this year. Just like I did an episode on that, which I have a very similar death to Alien, but it's just like real life death. I can't say anything else.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's like blink and you miss it roll, but I have a fucking horrific death. It's great. And so yeah, I had to have that face thing, and then they did a full body. So they kind of wrapped my body in like Glad wrap or like plastic wrap because I'm hairy. This is just like getting in my way all the time, isn't it? Like I just need to get like fucking laser on my chest, wrapping me in fucking Glad wrap.
Like it's some sort of like, leftovers.
You're right. And then they did it on my legs as well, and just and then they put like plaster from like my toes all the way up to. They did it in like increments. So they did like both my torso and my arms in one go, and then like my legs in another go, and my face in another go, and then that's what my body is when it's shaking from the back.
Yeah.
So they could like shoot up close and they could like push this stuff out through the back.
Was that kind of weird seeing someone like hold onto a copy of your body and kind of like push their hand through the chest?
It was. I loved it. I got a selfie with it. I think I posted it a while back, like me with my body double. It was a silicone version of me. If I was more obsessed with myself, I would have stolen it from set and taken it home with me. But it's a little weird.
I think you're revealing yourself to be a bit of a weirdo right now anyway.
Yeah.
So, you may as well go full all the way.
Exactly. I mean, I'm in a sci-fi film. I can do what the fuck I want, right?
That's right. If you could bring your character back from the dead and be in any of the Alien films, which one would you be in?
I wonder if he would fit in any of them, or if he would probably die first in all of them. So I'm just picking which
You
one.
wouldn't swap out yourself with Michael Biehn and be Hicks?
Maybe. That'd be cool. I'd prefer... Yeah, Hicks would be good. I would love to swap him out for someone in Prometheus. Maybe. I really like Prometheus. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be one of the science guys, or there's a lot of science guys really. There's
who's the redhead guy with the shaved head?
Oh, Fifield.
Yeah.
The stoner.
I like him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to play that role. But if Ledward was in there, it wouldn't be as good. Like, it's just yeah. But I mean, swapping myself out for John Hurt would mean that John Hurt wasn't there. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. It'd be too hard to let go of the current characters. You kind of.
It's a really hard question because it means that I have to take the place of somebody else. And I already like them the way that they are.
Could you imagine them swapping out and then taking up your role in Covenant?
Oh my God.
That'd be weird.
Sure. Probably John Hurt would do a good job.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Took a lot of my tips from him.
Everyone keeps saying that your death is by far one of the best in Covenant, even compared to Billy Crudup's depiction of Orem doing like the chest burster scene and stuff like that. You've really taken the cake for like probably the best death in all of the franchise. How does that feel?
In Covenant,
all the Alien films, everyone thinks that it's totally brutal.
They think that one's the best one?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that.
I see it a lot.
I'll take it if they want it. If they want to give me it. If they want to give me some weird trophy, I'll take it.
We'll send it in the mail.
Oh, yeah. Make sure it's sanitized before you send it.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Yep.
I'll actually fill it up with some hand sanitizer.
There you go. That's like a franchise idea. You can make a lot of money from that. Like hand sanitizer in the box.
Yeah. I was seeing, like, it kind of looks like the alien drool, don't you reckon?
Totally.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. I don't use the scope. I use like a spray one.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's like a bougie one, you know.
Yeah, I had to go and order a special one because, you know, like all the different breweries have started making hand sanitizer and stuff like that. There's this coffee shop down the road from me called Saint Ali, and they teamed up with another company and started making hand sanitizer which is 75% alcohol. So I've got like two massive bottles of it. It's good. Got to support locals.
Totally. You get a coffee and your hands cleaned.
Yeah, it's really great. Yeah, so handy. Like previous to talking to you in 2018, we were talking about the character of David, and the sort of things that he was doing. Like, you were going to say something, but now I rudely interrupted you because we had to go. Since we have no time limit.
I was gonna tell you how rude that was in this conversation. I was saving it up. I was waiting for you to apologize first.
I am really sorry. I needed to keep on schedule, and you told me like we only have 30 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I've got to time it. I can't.
Joking. I'm so joking.
I know. So, can you even remember what you were going to say?
I have no idea. I was like, I remember talking, I was on the Gold Coast at my mum's house, like in the backyard, like pacing on the phone, as I do. This is what I do. Do you pace when you're on the phone? I pace.
Yeah, I do. I usually like to go on a walk. So I'll, like, down the road from me, I've got Carlton Gardens, like the really massive park. So I'll usually go there and walk around. Then it doesn't feel so weird pacing because I'm actually going for a stroll.
It's the idea of walking while you're on a phone, like back and forth, or like walking somewhere is so weird. Anyway, it's like, why does your body do that? Why are you pacing back and forth while you're on a phone? Why don't you fucking just sit in one place? Like, well,
you've already moved around so much in this conversation.
I know.
I've had a fairly good look at your apartment now.
Oh god.
I think I could recreate it.
I could recreate yours as well.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can change yours.
Yeah, that's right. I should change it to another one right now. No, it's okay. I'll do it another time.
Next time.
Yes, next time. That's really cool that you got the storyboard art from your character's death.
So cool.
That is really fucking awesome. I'll have to have a closer look at those later.
Yeah.
By the way, because I didn't think of it.
Some pictures.
Yeah. Oh, they're so pretty. I love that sort of thing.
It was so lovely to meet him. He was like, we bonded over Patti Smith, and then he showed me it one day. He's like, here you go. I'm like, what? Oh my god. He's like, these are photocopies, but you know they're drawn by Ridley. Oh, that's really sweet. Not a lot of actors get that with like the work they do. You don't necessarily, if it's in a big production, you're so like at the bottom of the tier that you don't get to see any of the stuff that goes into that kind of a thing. So it was cool.
Did you get to open up any of like the drawers and stuff while you were on the Covenant to see like the sort of detail that they went into to dress the set?
Some of the drawers are like molded shut, as they are on sets, but some of the other stuff would open up. I can't really remember what was inside though. I didn't spend a lot of time on that ship, so my stuff was generally outside or like on in the med bay. There was a lot of like different liquids and stuff in there that they'd filled up, but I only kind of got to glance at them as opposed to like rummage through them, because they need it for continuity, so they need it to be the same every shot, so it's hard to do that stuff.
Oh,
I
that's true.
did sneak away with some of the actors while we were like in the green room though, and go and take pictures on like other sets that were being created though. I put them on Instagram a while back. You know, I'm kind of naughty when it comes to that. I just always have my film camera, and they'll be like, "You're not allowed to take photos on set." I'm like, "Oh, but it's film. I'm just gonna use it for my archive kind of thing." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I like don't release anything until it comes out. But I like to have my own kind of souvenir.
Yeah. Is there anyone who you ended up being like quite good buddies with after doing shooting and stuff like that?
Yeah, I love Alex England. He's amazing. He's such a sweet. He plays Anchor.
Anchor, yeah. Oh, it was very brutal death.
Sweetheart. And Tess as well is super lovely, who played Rosenthal.
Yeah.
And Uli.
Yes.
I mean, everyone was so lovely. Everyone on that set was super nice. There was like not really any not bad vibes on set, you know.
Oh, that's good. It's always a bit awkward when like I've heard from films like just horror castings and people just not really getting along and big egos clashing.
Look, it happens on any set, but it's easily avoidable the older I get.
Did you kind of retain any of the skills that you trained for when you took the part for Ledward?
Not really. I mean, I was swimming a lot anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And I run a bunch, so if anything, I know how to do like certain like workout, like CrossFit stuff that I can do if I need to, you know, put on muscle or whatever. But I mean, I don't really want to shoot a gun unless it's for acting, and I don't really want to be doing like military squadron like commands in my home. So there's not much I've taken from that training, but it was lovely to do. It was fucking hard work, but it's good to know that you can get that in shape that quickly, because we only did it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can, you know, have that much of a change.
There's there was a lot of criticism for the film soon after it came out. What was your feeling on that? Like as an actor, you probably don't get exposed to like the fandom so much, except for maybe like some comments here and there. Were people coming onto your Instagram and telling you what a shit film it was?
Nah.
You're lucky. Poor guys at studio copped a lot of it.
Really?
Yeah.
If they did, I didn't see it. Also, like, I don't give a fuck. You know, I got like I would care if I thought it was a shit film. Like, I've been in stuff before, I've seen it, and it's been really disappointing, and that's hard. But I saw Covenant, and I loved the work that I did, and I loved the story arc that I, although very minimal, created for myself. So it was such a big moment in my career that I didn't want to tarnish it with any kind of negativity. And yeah, I still think that way. I'm really proud of that film, and I love that film. I think it's great.
You should
There's
be.
obviously holes in it, and there's obviously like parts of it that don't work, but when you're dealing with something that's such a big idea in terms of subject matter, and in terms of like our human experience, and in terms of like the universe's experience, I think it does a really great job of trying to sum that up. And I don't think you can ever get one of those films entirely right. But I just respect Ridley Scott so much, and I respect the work that he put into that, and the work that we all put into that. And yeah, I wouldn't change it.
Oh, that's good to hear. Well, it's still my favorite film. I can't stop loving it. There's something wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with you.
I'm obsessed. So, like, now that 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 sort of like big part of like they kind of left it on the cliffhanger. I don't think any of the Alien films did that really, except for Prometheus. But even then, we didn't know that there was going to be a continuation or not.
Yeah.
It could have been just very self-contained. Where do you think David is going to go with his 2,000 or so colonists?
I actually have no idea.
Yeah, anything is possible.
Anything is possible, and I would hate to like predict something in it to not happen. Or I also think I'm a huge nihilist when it comes to films like that. So it doesn't matter. Like, he's already done the damage. So if there's not another film, it doesn't matter, and that can be what leads into Alien. But I don't know, to wrap it up, I'm not sure what they could do.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of theories out there for like obsessed fans, but I think I'll be very sad if there isn't a continuation.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be really lovely to see like one more from Ridley.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's working on it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He just gave an interview just recently, and Alien has been on his mind. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Who knows what Disney will do?
I know, right? Maybe he doesn't go with Disney unless they own it. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I think they still own it. I don't know if anyone has gone up to Disney and said they want to buy the IP.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe we can buy it. We'll just do like a Ledward spin-off movie.
Yeah, we'll just pool our money together.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can see all of the pre-Covenant stuff that was happening.
Exactly.
Have you had a chance to read or listen to the Covenant prequel book, audio book?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
I didn't mind it. There were some things that I thought were a bit weird, like exploding farm animals. But I'll give you a summary of your character another day. But okay. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of like, I guess, anti-colonist zealots that kind of try to blow the Covenant up before it leaves Earth. So it's it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of like corporate subterfuge and stuff like that. So it becomes more of a mystery than a horror, because there's no aliens in it. It's completely a people story.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before I let you go and back to your trash television?
Oh God, it's waiting. What else are you gonna do? I have been watching like Westworld and Dead and Unorthodox and a bunch of like good stuff too. I have to even it out with the trash because I want to be like level-headed, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to end up going on set and just go sashay away.
Exactly. No, you it's all about balance. Life is all about balance. But it's been that trash has been fucking helping so well.
It goes back to another time, doesn't it? Before COVID, I can hardly remember what it was like. Even the pub next door to me has completely shut down. I don't think they're reopening again, so it's going to be a sad time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just the only thing I want to say is that I hope that everyone's safe, and I hope that everyone's well informed, and I hope that people don't make mistakes as big as my character in Alien Covenant did, because that would be unfortunate. I hope that everyone's looking out for one another, and that they, if they're in parts of the world that are affected, that they realize the influence that they have over other people.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely taking care of the environment, wearing a mask, listening to scientists are all really good bits of advice.
Look, they're a good start.
There should be at least a basic for most humans,
Totally.
especially in terms of survival.
Yeah. If you've got some, crazy fans that don't believe in that, I might start getting people writing on my Instagram now instead of when the film was released.
Yeah, so if you guys would like to direct your hate to Ben directly, you can go onto Instagram.
At Brigby, right here. This is the bit where you have to put it there.
Oh, yeah.
Put my handle there.
I will have to, let me just change that.
No.
There we go. It's done.
I don't actually want the follows. I don't care.
So, official message from Brigby, fuck off.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining me on the Mother Room. It's been really nice to chat to you again. I always say this to my guests, I would like to be able to talk to you again, and then they kind of ghost me. So thanks for not doing that.
That's fine. I mean, like I said, I had nothing better to do. I'm sorry.
I love you too.
Likewise. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, it's strange times, but next time you're in town, hit us up. We'll have a drink and a chat.
Sounds good. Sounds great.
Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us in the Mother Room. This is Mother 9000 signing off, along with Ledward.
Bye. Bye, Mother. Bye. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Bye, Mother.
Yes.
Bye, Mother.
Bye-bye.